Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Train Sim World, and welcome to the Trans-Pennine, the Northern Trans-Pennine. That's what I'm going for the time being, until I hear differently, because UK pronunciations, you never know. The Northern Trans-Pennine, Manchester to Leeds DLC. So this is set in 1983. I'm reading these directly from the Dovetail notes. Set in 1983, the Northern Trans-Pennine brings to life the Huddersfield line, built between Manchester, Victoria, and Leeds City. Comes with 3 locomotives. Got the Class 4-7, the Class 4-5, the Class 101. So, looks like fun. Let's get started. I haven't done anything yet other than as soon as you start the DLC, it pops you into a brief tutorial how to start the engine, how to start the locomotive. That's all we've done so far. 30 minutes for this one, and this is the Class 4-5. Looks like a fun locomotive, and 30 minutes typically turns into 45 for us. You know how things go. So let's hop in here and let's get started. And yeah, man, let's have some fun. So, okay. Going through there. Going through there. Here we go. This is the driving rain scenario. The signalman at Huddersfield is about to assign a new platform, climb aboard, and get moving again. I would love to. We are on the gamepad. I'll try to keep things as smooth as I can. Seat height adjuster. No, man, I don't need that. I need to climb aboard, yo. So we'll close the door. I said we'll close the door. We'll have a seat. Sit in the driver's seat. Here we go. Get moving. Set the reverser to forward. Set the reverser to forward. Okay. Release all brakes. Can do that. And apply power. I would love to. What is this? We need to keep releasing. Okay. Stop at Huddersfield. Well, it could be Huddersfield. 0.8 miles. Let's do this. I like that, not that. Let's get some lights on here, and let's explore a little bit while we're starting to roll. Instrument lights. I like instrument lights. Demister. We don't need that. We do need a wiper of some kind. We get a wiper? No wiper? Okay. Over here, inspection lamp. I don't need to inspect anything. Cab lights are on. Nose light. Do we want that on or off? I don't know. Can't hurt, right? Spare switch. Whoa, gee. I don't know what that does. Headlight switch is on. It's heaters. Okay. I think we're good there. We're good on speed limit, although in half a mile we were going to be slowing down. So let's do this. Since we're heading downhill anyway, let's be mindful. Oh dear. Let's be really mindful of that. Okay, so what do we got? We got, I guess this is the loco brake, and then this is the train brake. Maybe. I don't know. Here's your wiper. Turn that on. Oh, that is, that's a bit manic. I think we can do without that. No, not that. Let's turn that down. Let's get some brakes going here. Yeah, let's really get some brakes going here. So yeah, this DLC, I have to say, it sort of snuck up on me. As soon after Long Island Railroad came out, that was just, what, a month ago or so, maybe less. And then I saw in between the two, pardon me, I saw in between Long Island Railroad and this DLC, I saw there was also an additional locomotive for the West Somerset Railway, which I did not get. You know, I think I'm going to have to start to be more selective, because are we all the way released? There we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. All right, getting to know this locomotive. The West Somerset Railway, as good as it is, and there's certainly nothing wrong with it, it didn't really do it for me, and I realize I'm going to need to be a bit more selective with the DLC, knowing how many there are for the Train Simulator series proper, Train Simulator 19, Train Simulator 18, etc. There's hundreds of DLC. I don't want to end up with hundreds of DLC. So I think, and I know we're going to be a little bit late into Huddersfield, but I'm being just super, super careful with my speed. So I assume there are going to be hundreds of DLC for Train Sim World as well over the years, and I really don't want hundreds of DLC. So I think I want to be more selective. And as it stands right now, because the sim is relatively new, it's been out for a year or so. Go right here. No, we want to go the other way. That's what I want. Because the sim has not been out for a terribly long time. I'm just going to slow her down here. Slow her right down. Yes. I think all the DLC, you sort of want to, have a peek, see what's going on. But I don't know that I necessarily want to just buy every single one that comes out. So I think the longer the sim is out, the more selective I'll be able to be. Well, everybody will be able to be. I'm going to get rid of this too. Is it that one? It's that one? Not that one. Not that one. It's got to be that one. That one. It's one of them. So you see what I'm saying. We will, in time, I think we will just drift right in here. Yeah. I know I lose time, but I'd rather lose time than overshoot the platform. So yeah, it's I'm not going to get that West Somerset Railway Loco, but it is available. It came out on November 27th, so it makes sense. I mean, it fits when you think about all the DLC for the Train Simulator series. You got to release a ton of DLC, so I thought it would be 3 or 4 per year. I think it's going to end up being more like 12 or 15 per year, and that's fine. That's the more DLC there is, I guess, the more there is to choose from. I know that sounds kind of like a. Let me tell you what. Let me set a little break here since we're going to have the doors open. Unlock right, and let's hop out and take a look. First time I've really seen this rig from the outside. Yeah, man, 1983. How you feeling about that? I'm digging it. It's frame rate has dropped since we took off. We are in a yard. That always kills things a little bit. Tons of scenery, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'm digging this. And this is, I don't know if I have a favorite kind of railroad, but I do like. I mean, I like vintage stuff, and this is definitely sort of quirky, which the West Somerset Railway is as well. It's kind of a kooky setup. And it's got, I don't want to say they're odd, but the locos and the rolling stock are different for sure. So, yeah. Yeah. All right, let's get teed up here. Lock the doors. And here we go. Right. We get a new objective, I hope so. So, brakes off. Pressure comes up. Here we go. Beautiful. Now it does say that this DLC, this line, has some steep grades, ups and downs. The ups, I feel like I have less of a problem with than the downs. The downs tend to sneak up on me, and I really need to be mindful of speed limits and grades and momentum and all kinds of stuff. And that to me is a fun way to play with trains. Where there's more going on than just setting the cruise control and kind of watching the scenery go by. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Right. So we've got, all right, it's a little dicey. It says we've got about 8 minutes, 7 minutes to go 5 miles. So unless things go kind of wide open here once we leave the yard, it's going to be tight timing to get there, but we'll do it. We'll do it. Yeah, man. Frame rate is good. Render is good. Detail looks good. Hello. Nice to see you. So it's to me it looks as good as all the other DLC that I've seen for Train Sim World so far. I've been pleased with all of it. And I do feel like every one of these they continue to refine, not just the DLC that you get, but the game itself. And I know before this DLC downloaded at 1 p.m. Eastern, I also saw about 350 meg of update for Train Sim World itself. And every time that happens, I think that's them continuing to optimize. And I think I say this just about every episode, but I feel like after what happened with the first Train Sim World, CSX Heavy Haul, where it was just such a graphics card killer, and so many people were saying this really needed to be optimized before it was released. I feel like Dovetail is much more mindful of that in subsequent releases, and they do continue to optimize. Whoa. Okay. Pedal to the metal, yeah. They do continue to optimize everything and continue to make it smoother and faster. And I'm seeing a little bit of stutter on those raindrops. We're at about 40 FPS right now, which is not great, but it's not terrible. But those raindrops are looking a little, could be happier with that. Right, and we are descending. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. We're a slight downgrade. Lovely. Oh. Okay, yeah. The passing trains just absolutely kills my frame rate. We are descending gently, and I'm being really, really mindful of that. And we've got a speed limit soon, or a change in speed rather. So yeah, man, digging it so far. All right, hang on, I gotta be on my toes here. Let's hop outside for a minute, take another look around. Yep, that is very cool. Liking the fog. Yep, I'm not outside cab view. I'm not super happy about my frame rate, but that's the limitations of my system playing a 2018/2019 AAA game. That's just another reason for me to upgrade. But having said that, nothing to complain about. Nothing to complain about. Certainly no part of the game to complain about. Everything looks fine. And I am happy that there are 3 locos in this. I know, hang on, since we're just getting used to this. Just learning this loco, let's be a little bit extra careful. And I also saw just now when I applied the brakes that I want to make sure I have them all the way off. So that's running, and that's release. Okay, I had them set to running earlier. Running, and I think I wanted to have them set to release. So for the Long Island Railroad, the LIRR DLC came with one loco and one consist. And I know there was some griefing about that on the forums. People were saying, for this price, I expect a little bit more. And I guess there is a diesel set on the LIRR as well. I saw that in a comment that somebody left for me. And it's not just electric. The way that the DLC is the way it reads, the notes for the DLC, that's an all-electric railroad, and that's not the case. There is a diesel set as well. So, it can't be all things to all people. Nothing can. But I'm always pleased when I see, I guess, a little bit more to do in a DLC, and with this having the 3 engines, and I think there's only one kind of rolling stock as far as we're descending again. Okay, brakes are all the way off. Brakes are all the way off. It keeps kicking back to running. Okay. So you release it, and then when you let go, okay, then it goes back to running. Okay. Cool. Wanted to make sure I wasn't leaving it in the wrong position. Anyway, I think you see what I'm saying. It's a good value for, I pre-ordered it and it was $23. So that's a good value. 3 trains to play with. And it looks like it's going to be an interesting route. You know, this reminds me way, way, way back in the day, Gen 1 Microsoft Train Simulator, there was some really steep tourist railways in Japan, or a really steep tourist railway in Japan with some, they're beyond switchback turns. They're like, you know, where you have to pull through straight and then reverse up the next grade into another siding and then go forward again. It's too steep, and space is too limited to make a turn, so it's extremely tight, and it goes up to a top of a mountain that looks over something, but really pretty. And I do like impractical scenic railroads like the West Somerset Railway. I keep saying that I like things that really the West Somerset Railway sort of represents, and yet I don't like it, but I don't know, it's just one of those things. Didn't really do it for me. And again, nothing wrong with it, just didn't do it for me. But I do like sort of quirky touristy stuff like this. Even though this is not a vintage railroad, it's just representing a time that is in the past. But I guess there's a slight difference. If that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Yeah, the West Somerset Railway is a vintage railroad that you play in modern times, whereas this one we're actually going back to 1983. Is that? And then it goes back to running. Okay. Okay, cool. How are we doing on time? I think we're going to be okay. I know, slowing down way early for this one. Great sound palette too. I don't know how you're hearing this. If you have headphones on, I'm in a 7.1 surround headset, and I think it sounds fantastic. Dovetail, in my experience, does a pretty good job with their sound. I've been pleased with. No. Keep moving. Keep moving. Come on. We're not there yet. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I think this looks really good. The sun effects and the way things are reflecting through the rain, I think this looks really good. Definitely pleased. Oh, and now we're going to miss it the other way. Too early and too late. It's not easy to do. But I think we're going to get pretty close to our mark, which is nice. And we're only about 2 minutes late, which by my standards is right on time. Right about there. Right about there. Right about there. Right. Left side doors this time. Let's hop back outside. Take a look. And I apologize when the camera jumps like that. I know that's kind of distracting. What are we looking for here? Oh yeah, right there. Right there. That's the one I'm looking for. Beautiful. Right. So, wow, that's 20 minutes already. Okay, they say it's a 30-minute scenario. I think we're going one more stop, and then we're going to call it. But we'll see. Oh, 30 minutes. I've seen 30 minutes turn into 45 enough times in train sim world. You know, it's like I know myself. Wow, what is that out in front of us? Is that a cooling tower? Is it a power plant? Nuclear or other? Hard to say. Occasionally, you will see big cooling towers like that for non-nuclear plants. Not always, but every now and then. Right. Lock the doors. Objective complete. Get ready. Brakes are off. Here we go. 7.8 miles. Leeds approach. Okay, no time limit on that. I always appreciate casual scenery in a game. What a farm sim map maker that I follow, what he calls clutter. There's just an amount of detail that you can add to a map. It doesn't mean anything, it doesn't do anything, but all of it as like an aggregate, all of it put together somehow makes a map come alive. So things like this cooling tower over here, those power lines that we passed under, just all those little things that don't necessarily need to be there, but having them there just makes a map really come alive. I love it. And I got some comments again about the Long Island Railroad. I got some comments from people saying that this platform or that station was like to a T, exactly accurate down to the placement of the trash bins. And I think, yeah, man, that is some detail. And it's one of those things where if those trash bins were not on the platform, I certainly wouldn't notice. I haven't spent enough time on the Long Island Railroad to know, or I don't want to say know or care, but I wouldn't pick up on that. I wouldn't notice that. But by putting them there, it's like not having them there takes something away even though you don't really notice, and having them there adds something even though you don't really notice. So I love when all those little details are added in. I know it eats up memory, I know it beats up frame rate a little bit, but I feel like, you know, if we want to have a proper train sim, that's the level of detail that we should expect. And again, it's really subtle. It sort of flies under the radar, but it is there. And on some level, you do pick up on it. Very cool. Very cool. I keep hearing rumors about Steam. Not Steam. I mean Steam. I keep hearing rumors about a Steam DLC for Train Sim World. I know a lot of people want it, so we'll see if they make that happen. And I don't know what the next one will be. I haven't seen any notes on that. As they start stacking up, and I believe they will, as they start stacking up, it is going to be tough to keep up with all of them. And I personally am going to be more selective. I don't just want to get everything that drops. I mean, I want to, but both my checking account and my hard drive think that is not the best idea. Right, here we go. So I didn't drive that BR 101 class, or class 101, because it looks similar to locos that we've driven in the Great Western. It's the Great Western. Oh, these are all running together, man. If I'm mispronouncing or mangling the name of your favorite DLC or your favorite route in real life, I do apologize. But I want to say it's the Great Western, and I feel like those locos are very similar. So I did want to get in something a little different, and this old school 1950s, 1960s diesel is definitely old school with the snout, right? They don't do it like that no more. So, yeah, really liking this so far. Does this door go anywhere? Does anything go anywhere? I saw something there. Check that. When we get stopped, we'll stand up and see if we can walk through that door back into that compartment, if there is a compartment. I also saw in just the very basic tutorial to get the loco started, there are some external functions. There's a battery switch outside that you need to throw, which is, some moment. No, we're okay. Some have that, some don't. I know, well, going back to CSX Heavy Haul, man, the startup procedure for some of those is crazy. And I know on the Ruhr Sig Nord, same way, you have to do some things at this end of the train, then you have to walk down to the other end of the train, flip this and hold that. Very cool. I like that. So I like the idea that if you're doing a cold start on a service rather than hopping into a scenario that you might need to get out of the train and walk around and do this and then hop back in and do that. The full startup procedure was not as complicated as anything on CSX Heavy Haul, but it was definitely, there were a few steps. I like that. I think that is, well, again, it's one of those details. You don't necessarily notice it when it's not there. And maybe you don't even notice it when it is there, but it all just sort of adds up and gives you that experience. And this total route is, I think, 43 miles is what the note said. And there's supposed to be a lot of tunnels and a lot of grades. I like it. I like it. And we're still very gently climbing, but I feel like we're accelerating like way beyond our throttle setting. We're not really, you know what I mean? We're not applying a lot of juice, but we keep picking up speed. Now we're slowing down. Okay. Now I know in the reverse ignored, the freight, oh, there goes my voice. The freight locos, which I guess you can also use for passengers, those, there is manual refueling. I know in CSX Heavy Haul there's manual refueling. I think there may be in Northeast Corridor. But I'm curious if there is here, since these are diesel. I wonder if there's a refueling stop. You know, I have not seen it. Admittedly, I'm super busy with a lot of sims right now, and I'm not necessarily following up on any one of them. I don't want to say as well as I should be, but I feel like there's just so much going on in the sims that I'm following. I can't follow everything, if that makes sense. But I feel like there's a scenario builder, and that people in the community are making scenarios. I don't know if anybody's making maps for Train Sim World, or if you even can. But I know there's a scenario builder and a scenario editor, and I haven't even looked into that as far as, you know, downloading somebody else's scenario, because the DLC typically come with 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. But if there's others, I don't know if that's something I want to check out. And I'm not suggesting that it's not something I want to check out. I just, you know what I mean? Haven't really thought about whether or not I want to get into that. And the only reason I wouldn't is time. Well, okay, and also it's possible that if a train sim person who is really into train sim made a scenario, I could just imagine it being unbelievably difficult. That seems like something a train sim fan would do. And, you know, I go back and forth, because there's times when I think, you know, I don't just want to sit in the cab and move the throttle up and down, and right, and that's it. And then there's other times when I think, wow, it's a train sim, you know, it's not a running around the yard with a flashlight sim. You know, I want to be in the train driving the train. But I guess it's a combination of the two, and if you get them in the right proportion, you know, nicely balanced, where there's some yard activity and some driving activity, you know, you get that nice balance. Right, so we can pick up the pace just a little bit here, but then we almost immediately need to start slowing down. But we can do both those things, no problem. Man, when you crank this thing up, I don't know if you can hear that, but when you crank this thing up, it really starts to rumble. Very nice. Alright, so we've got, I don't know if Leeds Approach is the end of the scenario. We're at 29 minutes, and we're about 2 minutes late, and okay, yeah, it could be. Could very well be. So I was hard on the brakes there for that brief drop in the speed limit. Now I think we're doing what we need to be doing. Let's Let's try to time it a little bit better. They want me to stop here? Oh, see, I don't know if they wanted me to stop here. I think they just wanted me to get here. Let's see what happens when we get here. If we do need to stop. Nope. Did not need to stop. Not a big deal. Alright, better to stop too early than too late, yeah? 1736. Okay, we're going to be a little bit late. A little bit late, but you know what? I always am. I'm okay with that. And I am going to continue accelerating, but slowly, because we need to drop back down to 25 here, not too very far. Okay. Okay. Liking it. I'm going to hit my coffee while we're sort of in between here. So we go throttle off. All right. Yeah, the brakes come on fairly quickly, but they come off fairly slowly. So trying to time that, right? Trying to time that so you don't slow down too much. So applying the brakes is a piece of cake, but then releasing them so that they are continuing to balance. You know what I mean? And the, yeah, there you go. Okay, that's a little better. Right. And we land right on 25. Oh, it worked. Fantastic. Okay. And then we need to stop up here unless this turns green before we get to it. And, well, it turns yellow. Okay. We gotta slow down a little bit more. And we're at over 1% for a downslope right now. Downgrade. Mindful of that. Wow. Is this a really big yard? I think it might be. Okay. We just keep slowing down. Next one is 10 miles per hour. Okay, no problem. No problem. Very cool. Very cool. I'm pleased with this so far. We'll do two things when we're done here. One thing is we'll look at the map so we can see the whole route. And the other thing we'll do is see if that door behind us opens into some mysterious secret area only for train drivers. Alright. There's that. We need just a little tiny bit of throttle. Just a little tiny bit more. There we go. Yeah, this looks like a pretty big yard. My frame rate says this is a pretty big yard. Come on, upgraded system. Can't get here soon enough. Yeah, that wiper is so manic. I'll put it back on for a second. That wiper is so manic that I did the trip with it turned off because that's a bit much, I have to say. And what's interesting is seeing how the scenery looks through that wet windshield with the water droplets on it. It's kind of nice, you know, kind of dreamy out there. Authentic, maybe, realistic. I think it's a good look. Here we go. We're at 35 minutes, so I assume this is our last stop. Fantastic. Right. Water window. Can we open it? We sure can. Beautiful. Get ready to stop here. We'll see if we can nail this one to close it out. And we're only 4 minutes late. Oh, frame rate. We got 2 trains, a bunch of scenery, and a bunch of track. We are taking a beating right now, as you can see. Oh, this is the end of the line. Like, really the end of the line. You gotta be careful here. There we go. Unlock left. And I guess, I mean, we're not really going anywhere else. So we can, you know what I'm saying? Very carefully here. Step out, take a look at our whip from outside. Very nice, very nice. Careful I don't fall off the edge of the platform here. All right. Good work. That's it for this run. Are we done? Step right in here. Well, had it. There it is. Park the locomotive. You got it. Had it. There we go. Set the handbrake to applied. That is this one over here. Okay. Reverser master key to off. So does this need to be reverser off? That's it. Climb down from the loco. Okay, so we're going to do that, but before we do that, we're going to look here. Does this door open? Most certainly does not. So we're going to step out here. Before we do anything else, we're going to take a look at the map, which is right here. Wow. Wow, okay. That's where my frame rate went. And then what else do we got? Over here. Looks like several big yards. And then we've got a couple sides. And we've got a main line. What's down at the other end? A couple more sides. One more side, and then another 1, 2. Wow, this is really big. And then I'm guessing at the other end here is going to be Victoria. Another side. Wow, there's really a lot to this. There it is. Holy smokes. Wow. That's quite a DLC. Okay. Okay. Yeah, definitely getting your money's worth. Right. Where are we walking to? Going down from the loco. We walk over here. Walk over here. Is that it? That's it. There you go. Late into Leeds. What can you do? Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Train Sim World. This is the Northern Trans-Pennine DLC. It's available on Steam. Check it out. It's very, very cool. We'll see you next time. Take care now.